All right, good Wednesday evening, Mid-Michigan. Chief Meteorologist Chris Easlick with your quick weather update for the night. It's going to be a little bit quicker tonight. We decided to delay the stream to be respectful to President Trump's address tonight on our streaming platforms for those who wanted to tune into that. So we are going to start a little bit later, and our time frame is going to be a little bit shorter because of our 10 o'clock newscast that will be coming up. But I promise we will be talking about what is ahead again tomorrow. So I don't really think there's going to be a ton of change between tonight and tomorrow. So we will take a look at our forecast here quickly. And then, as always, I'll check and see if there's some comments that come in after the fact and see if I can answer those questions. But as far as the main concern of this, it is going to be the fact that not only we expect to rain as we go through the day tomorrow, but the possibility that whatever water is left over on the roads after that rain comes to an end as temperatures fall, there could be the potential for a flash freeze, which could mean some slippery travel for your Friday morning commute. And there will be some lake effect snow that has the potential to move through as well. We're not necessarily talking about a ton of snow, but there is the potential that some of that could cause some squall-like tendencies out on the roads, and that can make things a little bit dicey at times as well. So we'll talk big picture about that. Good to see some of our usuals on the chat for tonight, and also what appears to be a growing audience due to, I'm sure, the forecast over the next couple of days. So let's jump right into it. The hour-by-hour forecast going into tomorrow is, I think, as we start the day, most of us will probably be able to get through the morning commute on a dry note. I would expect as we go through the morning, you'll likely see more rain eventually pop up as the morning goes along. But I think it'll be pretty scattered at first. I think we'll have a chance to see, actually covered my face there with the live bug. I apologize for that. But I think you'll see better rain chances as the day goes on. I think the most widespread rain will probably be from late morning until the evening hours. I don't necessarily think many of us are actually waking up to wet weather tomorrow. It seems like that will come in a little bit later. But you'll notice as we go through the day, even as we have cloud cover, even as we have rain coming down, we've got that southerly wind flow. That southerly wind flow really warms up our temperatures. We're likely in the low to mid 40s most of the day tomorrow. And that will keep our temperatures pretty warm right through the first part of the evening. So even as we start to lose daylight, we're still probably just going to see regular old rain through at least the first half of the night. And this latest model that is coming in tonight, this is actually refreshing as of probably about a few minutes ago, shows there is even a chance that maybe some of our temperatures could get pretty close to 50 tomorrow if we get enough warm air into the picture. But if you look towards the latter half of the night, we start to get some snow in that changeover, and then you'll watch as our temperatures will fall off after that, where you do see some 30s starting to break out by the time midnight comes around, even though precipitation is coming to an end. And then as we head towards the morning commute, we'll likely fall towards the upper 20s and low 30s, and then I think even further as we get closer to about that traditional bus stop time as we head towards Friday morning and potentially the last school day before holiday break for a lot of schools, or at least the ones that will still be in session as we head towards this Friday. Maybe some are out already, or maybe there's a half day, whatever it might be. We do have the potential once again for those temps to crash pretty rapidly here going into Friday morning, and that's where we have the concern about the ice. Now, before we get there, here's a look at some of the rainfall totals. Generally expecting about 1/4 to a 1/2 inch. Take a look at another model. This is the European model, but now that we're getting our high resolution in, I'm just going to take a quick look at that just to see if there's a little bit of a difference there. Well, give me 1 second. For whatever reason, it's not popping up. I'll have it here in just a second. Let's try this one. Right about. So yeah, about 1/4 to a 1/2 inch. I think this one paints a little bit better of a picture than that latest European model going into Friday. So about 1/4 to a 1/2 inch over most of mid-Michigan. If you get over a 1/2 inch, we do expect some decent rainfall rates tomorrow. It's just the fact that they're going to be so limited in time. I wouldn't say you would go over by much. If you got over a 1/2 inch of rain, I'd say probably 3/4 of an inch would be your cap, and I would expect that to be more of an outlier than something that would be typical. but I want you to have the whole picture, and that's a look at some of the rainfall totals that we have. But here's where I think things could be at least more of a wait-and-see approach as far as what to do with things like school on Friday, what to do with maybe some events that you might have, whether you're traveling, whether you have errands early Friday. One thing that I think is worth watching is we've got the winds on Thursday, and I'm just going to skip ahead to the afternoon. We've got gusts of around 25 to 35 miles per hour. I wouldn't be shocked if somebody could touch 40 miles per hour briefly tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening as the system comes through. But I think we'll have some pretty decent winds through the entire event. They're probably going to get a little bit lighter as we head into early parts of Thursday night and early Friday morning. But I think we still have enough to where we're seeing gusts between about 20 and 25 miles per hour, or maybe up to 30. I think the question is going to be, and my microphone is falling off here, apologies for that. I think the question that I have, and that I think is going to be critical to this whole thing, is what time does the rain stop? How quickly can we get those road treatments on the road, especially with favorable temperatures? Because even after the rain stops, I think we're still going to be in the 30s for at least a little bit of time. Can we get those road treatments on the road efficiently? How many roads can we treat? And then does the wind help us dry things out a little bit? There have been situations that I have seen before where I expect ice the next morning previously, and then we get enough of a wind overnight to really dry things out to where the moisture that's left on the road isn't quite as much as you think. I'm not necessarily saying that's a guarantee for this, but it's something that I think is worth watching. And if you're not necessarily looking for a solution right now, I think you may be able to take more of a cautious approach going into Friday morning. And I think schools may have a chance to do that, is instead of trying to make the decision the night before, they may try to wait until Friday morning just to be on the safe side. Because I think if I'm a superintendent, you can still close Friday morning. And I've talked to some of my superintendent friends who I've passed that information along. We'll see what happens. They know their districts better than I do, so the decision is ultimately up to them. But you can still close Friday morning, whereas if you close Thursday night, you can't really take that back on Friday. And so knowing that there is the possibility that we could get this rain to end, knowing that there is a possibility we can get some road treatments out on the roads, and knowing that there's at least a little bit of wind that might be able to help us in the drying process, could we make some inroads there in moving ourselves in the direction of maybe at least having main roads be okay Friday morning? Or there's a very real possibility that we could cool down faster and the wind is not enough and we're still looking at icy conditions. I keep losing my microphone. I apologize for that. I think everything when it comes to flash freeze scenarios, I think everything is timing. And so I have seen nights where I think there's going to be ice forming before, it hasn't happened, and then there's nights I think we're going to be dry enough and you still get areas of black ice. So I would say just be prepared. I think the cautious approach when we're talking about ice in your morning commute, I think the cautious approach is more appropriate. But I also think it is possible, and there are scenarios where we may be able, at least in some areas, to be able to get through Friday morning efficiently. It doesn't mean for everybody. I think our rural schools, I think our areas with a lot of back roads or side streets, I think those areas are probably most susceptible when it comes to school. And so I think we'll see how that plays out early Friday. As far as any quick questions that we might have tonight, we'll again go over this in at least a little bit more detail tomorrow. But just trying to see if anyone has said anything. Again, apologize for being a little bit late tonight. We wanted to be respectful to the president's address, and so we allowed that to stream on our platforms first for anyone who wanted to watch that. We didn't want to interrupt that. But we will be on time tomorrow night, 9 o'clock as usual, if you want the latest details before going into it. But here again is the summary, the first alert weather day for Friday morning. Again, the main concern here is just the possibility of a flash freeze. Any lingering moisture out on roads, I think not only back roads and side streets, but if you're on a street that typically is a poor drainage area, it could be a little dicey for you. We've talked the last couple of days about how snow plows have been clearing snow, and not that it's intentional, but that snow gets packed up against the sidewalks. It gets packed up against the side of the road in areas that are raised a little bit. And so some of the drains might be clogged and might not have an easy place to go. But I don't anticipate major flooding issues. We're expecting a quarter to a half inch of rain. I know it seems like a lot with the snow melt in combination with that, but that's where being a little bit drier going into the season helps us out at least a little bit. So I think this is going to be a good reference point for us just to see how this scenario plays out. Flash freezes don't happen all the time. So again, you're threading a very difficult needle with timing on Friday. But I think because of the flash freeze nature of things and how quickly it could happen, I think a cautious approach is the best approach. And if you're a parent, maybe have a backup plan just in case your child's school or child care is closed on Friday, just to be on the safe side. Doesn't mean you need to cancel or commit to it right now. If you have an appointment early Friday, I don't necessarily think you need to cancel or make a decision on that right now unless you have some other circumstances that you absolutely need to make that change, or you don't have great transportation, something like that. If you're flexible and you can give it a chance, there might be a benefit to that. So that's kind of where things stand. We'll see if we get any advisories or anything like that tomorrow. Matt is asking a quick question here. Matt, give me a minute to read that. Do you think the snow will melt? And if it does, is there a chance for any accumulation in the forecast on Christmas or before? I think our chance, if we can melt everything tomorrow, I think our chance is pretty limited, unfortunately. I was very optimistic the way the month had started. But considering the sunshine we had today, even though it wasn't all that warm to start the day, we eventually got much warmer in the afternoon. But it just shows you what a little sunshine in addition to warmer temperatures can do. That December sun angle, a little bit better than January or February. So it does still melt snow pretty efficiently. So I think if we can get rid of all of it in the next couple of days, I think at least parts of the area, unfortunately, are going to have a tough time actually getting any snow before the holiday. Speaking of snow, let me just show you once again some of those lake effect snow squalls. This will happen after the snow comes to an end, but you get these lake effect streaming snow showers coming from the other side of the state. They're not expected to produce a ton of accumulation, about a half inch or so. Maybe a little bit less. I'd say in a more extreme scenario, if something really can get going, maybe an inch. There just doesn't seem to be much evidence for that at this point. But these have the chance to lower some visibility across the region on Friday. So I would be careful with these as well. And with temperatures in the upper teens to low 20s, the possibility I think is there for even a little bit of snow to accumulate out on some of the roads as well. So stay tuned for Friday morning's commute. Obviously, Matthew will have updates with the traffic map. He'll have any delays, any closings for you in that event. And of course, we'll give it our best look again tomorrow night on tomorrow's stream, which again will be at 9 o'clock. I'll check one more time. Doesn't seem like we have too many questions. But yeah, in summary, just be careful Friday morning. Plan for some slow going. If things turn out better, great. But we are certainly taking the more cautious approach just to be on the safe side. Raise a little awareness, and hopefully we make out a little bit better than expectations. Hopefully we can dry things out with some of the wind, and beyond maybe a few slippery spots, maybe we can keep the main roads in pretty good shape to avoid widespread issues. So being the fact that it's 9:42 and our newscast starts here in about 18 minutes, we are going to sign off tonight. And yeah, Linda makes a good point. We're not even in full-blown winter yet. It's actually, the season officially arrives, at least according to the astronomical calendar, arrives this Sunday. Meteorological winter has been since December 1st, but even then it's been a pretty fast start. Long way to go. January and February, of course, are going to follow too. So have a good night. We will see you all tomorrow, and we will be on the stream for probably a longer period of time than tonight. And we'll see you all then. Have a great night.